Welcome back, everyone, for what is already the final session of Big Data Days 2022. I really cannot believe how fast the last 2 days have been flying by. It seems like an hour ago when I had the great pleasure of opening the Big Data Days at the start of the day. In the last 48 hours, we have had the pleasure to learn on a variety of different topics from industry experts from all across the globe. And I'm very honored and humbled that as the president from the Enterprise Big Data Framework Alliance, I have the honor to close today's conference, share some of these remarks, and also to award the first ever Enterprise Big Data Framework Awards to three amazing candidates and organizations that have done an exceptional service within the domain of big data. Before I get started, I would like to say a few words of thanks to everyone who has been participating in making this event possible. First of all, this event would not have been possible without the tremendous effort from all of our speakers. In the last 2 days, we have heard from 30 different speakers from all across the planet, ranging from the US towards Australia and almost every country in between. Each of our speakers shared his or her insights into technologies, best practices, or any other field that is related to big data and analytics. And as I've moderated one track, one thing really stuck with me. Big data is changing the world in an even more rapid pace than I already thought. Each of these persons is busy with making sure that organizations and people can make better and more informed decisions in order to change the world for the better. And if there's personally one thing I learned, it is that this change is going to be accelerating even more. I would like to, again, give a warm thank you to all of their speakers who have, on a voluntary basis, prepared time, energy, and commitment in order to make this event successful. Hosting a session like this requires quite some time commitment. There's preparation of the slides, there's rehearsals, and then the whole session itself. It's a tremendous amount of effort, and I'm very, very grateful for all of the great speakers that have taken the energy and time to actually do this. The other big parties that I would like to thank for participating in the session today are our partners. This event would not be possible without the generous support and contributions of our partners. I would like to start with thanking our sponsors, AWS, Quint, iLogic, Scibient, and Advisors, who are all promoting the Big Data Framework in one way or another and are helping to establish this event. Each of these partners is instrumental in making these 2 days successful. So it's no more than fitting to thank these partners for all of their contributions towards this 2-day event. Besides our sponsors, I also would like to thank our industry partners, most notably the Big Data community for promoting this event to their members, the publisher Kogan page for providing us with discount codes and publications around big data, APMG International, a longtime partner who is the official certification body of the Enterprise Big Data Framework, and especially MDEC in Malaysia, who has been our strategic partner for this event and also provided one of the speakers. Again, put your hands together for these partners, because without them, this event would definitely not be possible. One last word of appreciation before we move towards the official award ceremony, I would like to give towards our own team. In the background, which many of you haven't seen, there have been 6 people who have been working very hard around the clock and towards very late hours to make this event possible. Without the support of this team, our partner manager Lydia, our marketing manager Celine, our co-host Jeremy, and behind the scenes Angelina and Martha, this event would also not have been successful. We're presenting this event to you from Malaysia, so that meant 2 days until very late in the evening to make sure that this event is hosted well. So I also would like to ask you to put your hands together for the team that is making this Big Data Days possible. Behind the scenes, there's always a lot of work that is going into planning an event like this. From finding the right kind of speakers, composing the tracks, reaching out to partners, towards all the formal contracts and making sure that everyone is here on time. You also don't know that there's sometimes obviously logistical issues, people who fall sick, or technology that is failing us at the latest moment. This team has taken a lot of effort and dedication in making sure that this event has been very successful. And a big success it has been. Over the last 2 years or 2 days, for the first time, we have had more than 800 registrations. Throughout the 2 days, we have had approximately half the people who listened in live to our session, with a peak of around 250 people in one single session alone. It shows that the interest for big data and big data big practices across the world keeps on growing. And this is very encouraging because when we put a lot of effort in hosting an event like this, it would only be successful if we get so many registrations and so many people participating. So from the bottom of my heart, I also would like to thank all of the participants for taking the time to listen to us, for taking the time to learn more, and for taking the time to ask intelligent questions and to network with other participants. It is not without you that this event would be possible. That's some of the main things I would like to say before we're moving towards the closing ceremony. One last thing I almost forgot is just a final reminder that there is a 20%, 5% discount code for Copen Page. This discount code will only be valid again for today. So if you still have doubts and you would like to buy books, for instance, from our keynote speaker from yesterday, by all means, make sure that you do that today. So now the official moment has come. The moment that for the first time, we're going to be handing out the Enterprise Big Data Awards 2022. The way that we've structured this event, these awards, is that for this first year, we have subdivided it into 3 main categories. There is a jury that consists of 3 people that have been going through all the submissions and nominations, and that made a report with a final recommendation. During today's session, I will only point out the winning parties, because I don't think it's fair to point out companies who just didn't make it. There's no silver and bronze prizes with these awards ultimately. We have, for the most part, people that are going to either be with us today or that have provided us with a smaller little video. The way that I will be presenting these awards is to, first of all, explain why, from the jury report, why this person or entity was selected and what have been the key reasons why this project was successful. All of the winners have received an official trophy and a certificate stating their accomplishment. It is my great pleasure to get started today with the award for the Practitioner of the Year. The Practitioner of the Year is a person that has taken an incredible amount of effort to promote big data and big data practices in various forms across the globe. The first ever Practitioner of the Year award will go to Mr. Chi Wu, who is located in Taiwan. Congratulations, Mr. Chi Wu. The jury report for this award states that out of all of the submissions, Mr. Chibu is recognized for his dedication and efforts to make the enterprise big data framework accessible in the Chinese language. Mr. Chiwu has not only translated the core books into Chinese, but also ensured that all of the APMG examinations, rationales, and syllabi have been made accessible in the Chinese language. In the process, Mr. Chiwu has become an active ambassador for increasing data literacy throughout Southeast Asia. I would like to extend again a heartfelt word of congratulations to Mr. Chiwu for this particular achievement. Since it's already very late in Taiwan, Mr. Chiwu could not be here in person today, but he has submitted a small little video, which I will play for all of you right now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jie Wu. I'm an APMG certified trainer of enterprise big data certification in Taiwan. I'm apologized because the time zone is different and I'm absent in this award ceremony. People need a framework to realize the value of data. Enterprise big data. However, people always want to use their native language to learn the knowledge. That is why we are translating the core books of Enterprise Big Data Framework, because we want to take care of young people who speak Chinese Mandarin. I'm very happy and honored to receive this award. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chiwu. This is obviously a pre-recorded video, but we would once again like to extend our congratulations on winning this award. Having handed out the awards for Practitioner of the Year, it is now time to move to the second award, which is going to be for the Student of the Year. The Student of the Year is actually a quite specific award because there's not a whole lot of jury deliberation. The Student of the Year award will be presented to the individual who in the previous calendar year has achieved both certifications that are available right now with the combined highest mark. The Big Data Award for Student of the Year is therefore determined by looking at the exam results from APMG International. And it's my great pleasure that one of the former students of Chiwu has achieved this highest honor and has been selected as the Student of the Year award. The jury report has selected Genqi Chen, better known as Ryan, to receive this award this year. Mr. Genqi Chen has been selected as the Enterprise Big Data Framework Student of the Year because he passed the Enterprise Big Data Professional and Enterprise Big Data Analyst examinations with the highest mark in the calendar year 2021. Being the Student of the Year proves strong dedication to studying essential machine learning and statistics concepts and applying them in a practical setting. The jury would like to congratulate Mr. Ryan on his exceptional performance in achieving these results. We have with us live today from Taiwan, Mr. Ryan, who would like to say a few words. Mr. Ryan, if you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay, thank you, John Will. I would like to thank EPDF for conferring this award on me. I also want to thank Mr. Jie Wu. He's a very great teacher. He provided me a lot of assistance during my study. I'm engaged in work related to information security. I often help clients to plan a platform for secure event analysis, which is basically a big data platform plus event analysis. So this course is also very helpful to my work. I'm very happy to receive this award. Thanks again.
Thank you, Mr. Ryan. And I know it's very, very late for you as well. So I would like to also take a moment to thank you for logging in at this very late hour to be here live with us today. Your efforts, both in terms of studying as well as being here today are greatly appreciated by anyone. I see a lot of hands going up and clapping, so you might be very, very proud of this award. Thank you so much for being part of the Enterprise Big Data Framework, and congratulations with your award. Good. Our next and final award for this year is awarded for the Project of the Year. For the Project of the Year, we received the most submissions this year, and the jury needed to find a trade-off between 7 different projects that were submitted in this previous award ceremony. Out of all the projects, what the jury looked at is adherence towards big data best practices and the way that these practices have been applied in the completion of this project. That obviously requires knowledge around enterprise big data, how to structure best practices, but also a fair amount of consideration for the people aspect within big data. And the successful company that has achieved that has been looking at that triangle and has been making improvements, significant improvements, in one of their internal projects. The first Project of the Year award goes to British American Tobacco, and especially within that large organization, the data and analytics team. The summary jury report states that the data and analytics team at British American Tobacco has been selected for their 100 times value from data and analytics in 2025 internal project. This project has demonstrated a clear and demonstrated effort to transform an organization through data strategy, data governance, data science, and the use of innovative algorithms to successfully serve global BAT markets. This project has demonstrated the application of big data best practices, especially on strategy and data governance. In addition, the jury would like to recognize the data and analytics team for establishing learning paths to increase data literacy across BAT. I'm very happy that this award has been presented to British American Tobacco and would like to congratulate them on their achievement. The person that is in charge of this project and who has been submitting this award unfortunately could not be with us here today, but he has promised us to also send a short little video and an overview of this project, which will be published on our website afterwards. All of the awards recipients will receive a trophy, which is depicted on the left-hand side of this slide. This is the actual design that has been put into crystal glass. And over the next few years, we hope that we can continue this tradition of submitting the Big Data Awards. This is also immediately an invite and call for everyone who's listening and that would like to be considered either as a practitioner, student, or project of the year. If you already think you have a good project person or student to nominate, please do that whenever the new website for next year's event is going to go up. There's one big exception, and that is that the Student of the Year is obviously not a jury-selected award, but it can be achieved by getting the highest pass mark. And that is also obviously one of the main advice that I would like to give. Big data is changing the world fast, so it's going to be really worthwhile to study quite a lot around this. In the last 2 days, we have been trying to share knowledge. As everyone knows, this event is free of charge for everyone who's participating. And the main objective is to share knowledge, learn more, network, and become more familiar with big data and big data best practices. And I think we're slowly accomplishing that mission. This is the 3rd year that we're hosting the Big Data Days. And if I compare the first year, the first edition, which is 2 years ago, with the edition that we've been running in the last 2 days, the changes are massive. We could even say that we now can use some big data to show some big results. I would therefore like to close with a number of key takeaways. things that I have learned and have seen over the last 2 days. The first thing that I would like to highlight to everyone is that almost all of the speakers noted the increasing demand and requirement for knowledge in big data best practices. The domain of big data is growing even more rapidly than I anticipated. And almost all of our speakers indicated that there is this need to get more people within the domain. The second main takeaway that I would like to share with you is that big data is more than just about technology. Within the last few days, we have seen some of the most innovative ways in which big data and analytics can be used to improve everyone's lives. We've seen case studies in very interesting fields like agtech, which was for me a new term, and that is about using big data within agriculture. Today, we have seen a very fascinating session on how these analytics and machine learning models can be used for drone inspections. And we've also seen yesterday on how this can be used at insurance providers, banks, and even within the healthcare sector. One of the main things that really stuck with me is that big data is almost industry agnostic. The underlying concepts are all the same. And it doesn't matter whether you're applying it for an airline, for an oil and gas company, for a tobacco company, or for a healthcare company. Big data and analytics are changing all of those industries at the same time. And I think that is a very relevant key takeaway because there's very little innovations over history that have been able to disrupt so many industries at the exact same moment. Big data and data analytics is able to do that. And that also, I think, is one of the key ways and key takeaways from these 2 days, is that there's this constant change going on that is affecting almost every industry. The third and last key takeaway that I wanted to share with you is that above everything else, big data is a people business. Within all of the presentations, and I've listened to half of them live, we've seen that speakers almost always addressed the need for a human approach. We talked about data privacy, security considerations, and ethical discussions on the use of data. This was another common red thread that we've been seeing across all of the presentations. Many organizations are in the process of defining what their policies will be, and are sometimes even a bit struggling with how to apply this. I think that's also a very relevant lesson out of the big data days for this year, is that focus on the people aspect of big data should not go unnoticed and should go higher on the priority list. Maybe for next year, we will also make a people track, where we will specifically look at those more soft skill issues within the domain of big data. With that, I would like to slowly get towards a close of the Enterprise Big Data Days. I would like to remind everyone that because we had so many sessions in so many different time zones, that all of the recordings are available on the Big Data website. These recordings are going to be put on YouTube, so that's the quickest way where you can find all of the recordings. But they will also be listed here within the app and on the website itself. Please look at those recordings in depth. Write your comments, and if you have any additional questions, please feel free to put them in the threads, which we will be actively monitoring. The whole purpose of big data and big data days is to build up a body of knowledge. We're doing this through the publications, but these sessions are also invaluable because they share lessons experienced by some of the leading minds within the industry. So make sure that in case you have missed any of those sessions, you will go towards this website and review some of them in more detail. If you've been inspired in the last 2 days and think I would also like to become a speaker, this is an open invitation. In case you would like to be part of Big Data Days 2023, which will happen approximately at the same time of year next year, please feel free to reach out to us already. If you cannot wait for so long, we also have a number of other smaller events throughout the year. We are hosting a number of webinar sessions for which we are always looking for co-hosts. We are also having a number of roundtable sessions for which input and participation is greatly appreciated. If you feel like you would like to contribute towards the Enterprise Big Data Framework, which is an open concept and an open alliance with members, then this is your chance and opportunity to do so. We're always looking for people who are enthusiastic about big data and would like to share their knowledge with others. If you're interested in that, please visit the Big Data website. Look at all of the different partnership opportunities. We have a program for individuals, which is called the Ambassador Program, that will outline how you can formalize your participation with the Big Data Framework. If you're a company that would like to participate, then we have an enterprise data program available. And if you're an organization that also wants to start teaching around big data methods, we have an accredited trainer program available as well. As the need for big data is growing all across the world, I strongly encourage you to look into that. It's good opportunities to become associated with the big data framework and also start advising clients based on some of the most fundamental principles. With that, we're slowly getting towards the end of the Enterprise Big Data Days 2022. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us for these last 2 days. I noticed that some of you have actually been in all of the sessions, or at least have been there for 16 hours straight. From the bottom of my heart, I would like to thank you for making this event so tremendously successful. And I already look forward to welcome you again on next year's edition. From everyone that is involved within the Enterprise Big Data Framework, thank you very much for participating, and until we meet again.